Hello, all you listeners. This is the Dual Screens Podcast, the world's #1 indie dev interview podcast. That's a mouthful. It's also very accurate. And joining me this week, it's my first interview of the year. There's been like stuff in the can for, I want to say, the last couple of weeks, just remnants of last year, but now we're fresh. I'm freshly coiffed, haircutted, ready to go to interview our first guest officially of 2023. It's Ben Lee, the CEO and co-founder of Blowfish Studios, developer and publisher of many an indie game, including Gunscape, a game that I describe in my notes as a boomer shooter meets Minecraft.
Accurate.
Is that accurate, Ben?
Yes, accurate. Thanks, Andy. It's great to be here. And
Yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. Yeah, I was watching the trailer for this thing, and first of all, this game is 6 years old, and I had no idea it even existed until I got a press release about the Switch version coming up very soon, February 1st. So that's like around the corner. But I was watching the trailer and I was like, am I watching like Turok footage on N64 or what is happening in this game? And then there's like this kind of building aspect to it. So I want you, Ben, to give me the elevator pitch of Gunscape. I know I did a nice job with the whole boomer shooter thing, but give me your more profesh sales pitch for Zega.
Fresh. I don't know. That's a pretty succinct and accurate description there. Yeah, I mean, look, Gunscape, like I said, it's old. Like we started development in this back in 2013 and ideation back then, and long time like that's 10 years ago now nearly. And yes, it's a elevator pitch. It's Minecraft meets kind of Quake 2, Turok kind of that's really it. I mean, I guess the people, where we started with it is that, me and my co-founder, so with Blowfish, like Aaron Grove, we kind of met back in the 90s, playing LAN games, and those games that we would LAN, like Quake 2, Quake 3, Marathon. So we were big into like the first person shooters, and what Gunscape was like, we created a game, like a toolkit, actually, taking some of the best bits of Minecraft, because even back then in 2013 it was a massively successful game, and we wanted to take that and build something that people could easily create their own levels and their own maps and gameplay, that focused though on that that kind of that Twitch first person shooter and aspect rather than anything else. And that was the main thing. And then that's how it was born. It's been out for a while. We actually did a Kickstarter back in 2014, and then we released the Steam Early Access in 2015, and then we went consoles in 2016, like the PS4 and the Xbox One. So quite a while ago. And the story of what's coming out now on Switch is that back then we were trying to do the port to the Wii U,
Yes.
Nintendo Wii U, and this game, I think it really suits the Nintendo platforms and the players there. Technically we had a few too many challenges, which meant we couldn't really get it there. And then over the years we've still the game game's running, and we've been continually trying to get the porting onto Switch. Lot of different aspects there. Even Gunscape, when it first came out on the PlayStation and the Xbox, one of the big things about it was it has cross-platform, essential user-generated content and cross-platform multiplayer. So it's a massive deal, because only recently has PlayStation come to the table by allowing full cross.
Yeah,
play.
they were all stingy for quite some time. It depends on who you ask at what point in time in the gaming cycle, but at one point everyone was an asshole about crossplay.
Yeah. So, but we've been kind of supporting it. You couldn't play PlayStation versus Xbox back then, but you could play PlayStation with PC, and then so that was so it's a for us, it's a really big achievement, and that we've been able to, one of the very first games to actually, to support crossplay when it comes to both user generated content and the actual, real time gameplay. And it's big fun.
Was one of the main sticking points of the Wii U port was that the Wii U was just not a good piece of hardware.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not that it wasn't a good piece
I
of
mean,
hardware.
listen, it was decent-ish,
Yeah,
Didn't
it
have
had its gimmick.
it
Had
did.
its thing,
It
had
did.
its thing. Which, if you didn't have that, would you have the Switch? I think a lot
Listen,
of people panned the Wii U for the whole handheld thing, and
I've always felt like the Wii U, it had to fail for the Switch to be born and be as successful as it was. So again, it served the purpose. I mean, I owned a Wii U. I had two Wii U's. I hacked them both.
two,
Didn't
that's a bit much.
didn't pay for a single Wii U game. Because they were glorified emulators for me back in the day. But yeah, I've listened. It had its charm. It's again the gimmickness of it, but it felt like a Fisher Price like version of like the Wii.
Yeah, and I think the dev kits, similar. Let's just say, look, the Switch is a success, and it's an amazing piece of hardware. I think people were thinking it was going to fail from the beginning because of the Wii U, but Nintendo again, proving their prowess when it comes to creating games and game platforms. So.
I think the Switch will only slow down in sales when no one else wants to buy it anymore. I feel like those who want it have it. It's approaching like PS2 numbers in sales. I think it's going to get to a point where we can't sell it. We have to like make new people so they can buy more Switch. So what's it like? Because you guys have grown a lot as a studio over the last 6 years, and again, nearly 10 since this game was first conceived, kickstarted, funded, released on PC and Sony and Xbox consoles. What's it like coming back after all this time, looking at this game now and bringing it to the Switch audience and seeing like how you've grown since then, what this little relic of your past looks like, and what's that feeling like for you guys?
I mean, for me, I love it. Like Gunscape, it was a massive achievement for us, and a game that we all really loved, and not just from the studio's point of view, from the players when we launched it back then. Yeah, it's been a while, and that's kind of it's kind of just died away. But for me, it's, I mean, when we released the game, we were astounded by the levels and the content that our players were creating in there. And so as a game internally, it's still something that's very close to our hearts there. And still something, we were tossing around, what does is there a sequel, or where do we take it from here? Which is, we're doing a lot more now, so it's going to take a bit of concerted effort and decision to make that happen. But I'm going to play it, more on the Switch now, because it runs, considerably well on the Switch. Considering, I think we kind of spent a lot of time to get it working and running on there, and so it just means a lot to actually have it there and release it, because all the content also that it's launching with a lot of content from players. One of the big things when we released the game initially is we'd set it up to, we were thinking people were going to build essentially, multiplayer like deathmatch or, capture the flag. We implemented, all these kind of functionality into the game, the ones that you would think of when you're thinking more like first person shooters. And that's where we thought people would really spend the time. And people made some great, it's about making new maps, but also making, classic old maps. So, we played a lot of Unreal Tournament. There was like, opposing castles, opposing towers is one of the, classic maps, and people made multiple versions of those that would play like they were amazing. We're just always blown away by the maps that people were making, and how much they played like the original, but in Gunscape, and just having their twist on it. But one of the big things that surprised us was that we did put in this ability to make single player like campaign maps, and and there were actually more people were playing the game for the building, for the creation side, and they were making their own campaigns, or they were, although again they were trying to reconstruct older games. Like someone
Right.
gone there and made a whole 7 map campaign from like GoldenEye, right? You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's in
shut up. That's
Yeah, so it's
amazing.
like, yeah, and you're playing, it's like, oh, like this, I know I can see all these bits and pieces. So that was something that we had to, not had to, but we decided, oh, we kind of like in our updates back then was like, embracing that, and giving people the opportunity to link maps, because you couldn't even link maps at the time when we launched it. They were just separate, and it said, oh, well, now we'll let people move from one map into the next map, so they're making kind of campaigns. And so, um, again, because it was our first game that really let us bond with the player community. People were they're telling us they'll spend like 7 hours a day, like one chunk, just building maps, and that was like, it was really cool. And again, I think the kind of game it is. I think really it really fits the Switch too. In the way that you can play it, we were able to support split screen. So in the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox and the PC, you can actually do 9-player split screen. Because it's a low, the graphics is like low res kind of
I need
that
to
kind
see
of
what this
very
looks like.
stylized. Yeah, so I don't, no, we're not supporting like 9-player on the Switch, but you can do 4-player. But it's like, if you check it out, you can do 9-player on the other ones, which is yeah, you can't have 9 controls on the Switch as well, so it doesn't quite work there. But just having that ability, and like I've got two school age daughters, and they love Minecraft and how they're building, and so I think it's no, I think it's kids and people in general just love creating their own, bringing their own ideas to life. And so yeah, it's got the game itself has a whole kind of like voting system in there, and so we put that in to essentially we need to make a way that again players could rate content. So the people that made the really good content would bring that to the surface and highlight that more to people. But this is also like the showing you what's latest. Random picks from things that genres and different map types, and as a player, as a creator, you get to choose what gameplay types you support in that map. So you kind of we put on these kind of like tools or just bits and like attributes that really help creators give players the best experience for their map that they've created.
Yeah, it's amazing how you've really brought together very two disparate fan bases. I mean, I have younger nieces who swear up and down they would give their life just to play more Minecraft. They adore it. And then I have nephews who live and die by Call of Duty and the shooter. And you have like this beautiful, again, the Venn diagram. You're just in there and you're bringing both of these worlds together. And it's an amazing thing because you can enjoy two very distinct kinds of gameplay, but you're not sacrificing anything for the other. They both play like you expect them to. And they're
Yeah.
quite versatile tools also. Like you can make like again, here's all of GoldenEye in the game that I just made, or here's a really competent like Quake like shooter that's fun and it looks like a retro throwback, and it's bring all your friends, have a LAN party kind of a vibe, and it works. It's astounding.
Thank you. Yeah, and that was. And I guess that's why why we built it, right? And that's what we
Yeah.
love it. So no, it's like I said, it's exciting for us to have this release again. One also, yeah, also just because like it's something that I told our fan base and our Switch community we will do, and it's been a very tough ride, like to get everything through, get everything approved and the build without it just crash a lot again, just because it's the Switch again is like more limited on some of the tech, like
Mhm.
RAM and things. It's more about memory and speed. So,
Right.
but no,
Well, listen, at least you have like a nice pool of free labor to develop your sequel with. Like,
yeah.
listen, look at your top creators. Like, listen, you guys make some great maps for us. Can you just design some stuff for the part two? And we'll put your name in the credits.
Yeah, the next version will yeah, we'll try something different, but it's
Now,
really hope to get some cool new content there from the Switch community.
it must be hard to like look at this again after so much time and think to yourself, can we go back in and make some like dramatic changes to this thing? Because we've learned again, you've grown and evolved as a studio so much. How do you resist temptation to like we can like tear this thing apart if we want to and like put a bunch of new shit into there? But again, it exists as it was 6 years ago. How do you avoid that or resist the urge to tinker with what was perfect, 6 years ago?
Well, I mean, one thing that kind of like stops that is that it's a massive job. so, so, yeah, well, this is 6 years ago. We weren't,
Work,
yeah, like all
time,
indie games.
money.
We didn't build it to be the most expandable, extendable kind of thing. We were trying,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's like it's especially now, like when you start trying to play too much around with what it was, how it was built. You can kind of quite easily break something. So I think and that's the thing. So to do the next version or whatever it is, it would be a kind of a total rebuild
Mhm.
of what was. Um, but learning from everything that we've done before with it. So yeah, it's not that we don't want to. It's just if you try, do something and you just break it, and it's like, all right,
I mean, it'll probably be 6 more years from at that rate.
no. Yeah. Hey, we're still around. It's again, it's not too long to wait. Switch 2, whatever it's called.
Yeah, this is a bit of a tangent, but do you think we'll ever get that like in the near future? Because I feel again, we touched on Switch sales for a little bit like a hot second ago, but I feel that thing, it's just the way it sells.
Hmm.
There's no immediate reason to make a
No,
successor console for the
no, no.
Switch yet.
No, exactly. I think the one thing Nintendo's done really well with the Switch, and partly by necessity, but the one thing they've done really well is that they've stuck to their guns and they've said what the Switch is for.
Mm.
What and the type of game it's for. So you don't. It's quite freeing in some ways for game developers. If you're going to focus on the Switch, you're not competing on trying to put the latest and greatest like graphics and and don't try to squeeze more and more into the game. Right?
Right.
It's about game design. It's about aesthetic design. It's about the game itself, which is tremendous. And I think I, I'm I'm very impressed though with how some of the Triple A games get squeezed onto the Switch. But they do get some reviews sometimes that are a bit wasn't well optimized and all that. And I think because they were trying to do it before they knew that, well, they announced that they were going to do it before they actually tried to do it. So, but no, like going back to what your question is, I don't think we'll necessarily see a sequel anytime soon because great games just keep coming out on the Switch. Like people keep buying it, people keep buying the games. Nintendo themselves, their studios are set up. That they leverage the hardware to the fullest and just keep creating fun games that their target demographic enjoy. So, um, I mean, you even look at the larger game of what Epic did with Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of accept, they also embrace the fact, oh, we don't need to do the latest and greatest kind of graphics and push that element
I mean,
there. It's about the game, right?
you
So
can play it on your phone.
yeah, yeah.
So, you've looked back on this project now, Gunscape. Um, you know, the woes in bringing it like from the Wii U mishaps to now it's back on this now it's on the Switch. What are some of your fondest memories as you look back, bringing it to now like a more of a current gen console all these years later? Like any fun stories you had while you were making this thing all those years ago that kind of came to your mind? Like what
I
memories
mean,
came flooding back?
yeah, no, I mean, what is one big one? It's not so much a fun memory, but
Oh,
when we did the early access. So
mhm.
on PC. We actually did it was kind of free to play at that point back in 2015. We did the kind of launch of the early access on Steam. And we were just a small team. I think about about 16 people or something like that. We built our server, tech up, and had that all going. We got like 100,000 players in the first week or something like that, and it was
Wow.
unfortunately our server wasn't quite ready to handle that. So it did, it had this massive influx of people, but it just it just kind of that was a few on launch, just late nights and just scrambling around to figure out what's going on. Like it had this kind of memory leak, so it would just fall over every so often. And what you do, you just put a little hack in that says reboots the server, even though it has a
Right.
crash. It like reboot it every so often, so it doesn't. So it can kind of help itself. So um what happens in game development, we bonded, our team bonded over those experiences because even more because there's like down the trenches doing that. But so it wasn't a bad one. It was like, it was really cool. We had so many people come in and play, right? And that was really exciting. I mean, on beyond that, it was the kind of the working with the community and really seeing the stuff that was coming out. We built our own campaign to launch with a single player and multiplayer maps to kind of help. But it was we got to speak to our number one fans and the content creators, and that was just super fun. And trying to also pivot and add different content or fix things that they might bring up. So it's 100% a community driven game, and so working with the community back then was it was just a lot of fun. And we were running tournaments, we were running competitions, and saying around the maps, and so that was really cool. I think that was a really big things with the Kickstarter. Going rewind back even further,
Oh boy, yeah.
I'll say the Kickstarter was a failed Kickstarter because it wasn't. So we funded it. We self funded the game anyway to ourselves, but the Kickstarter itself failed. That was it was really cool. Again, working with the community and just having that. It was a lot of work though. It
Mhm.
was I think that was one of the big things to take away from that. But something we'd never done before. So always just kind of having that challenge and learning, um, really just learning a lot of stuff, which is doing first time. And then it was one of our games that we got to show. I think I don't know, was it GDC or one of the PAXs. We
Mhm.
had the game on the Microsoft Xbox kind of booth or
Oh wow.
exhibition. So that was really cool. So we got to talk to working with Chris Charler at the time, and
Mhm.
so seeing all the people at the booth, and that was really fun. A lot of kind of stories from that. But
Yeah, and like look at you now. Like again, your studio is, like I think you're like one of the I get most of my emails in my inbox on the PR side. The name Blowfish comes up, I think, more often than any other name in my inbox. Because
I guess
you pull it's double duty. You develop games, and then
yeah,
you also curate and publish games.
yeah,
Also, and few indie developers like get to that level where they can be like a company that makes games, and also we're gonna look out for talent, and we want them in our catalog, like in our family, so to speak.
yeah. And we started doing that about 5 years ago now,
Hmm.
I think. And we did that because we were very technical focused as well, tech
Hmm.
focused. So we had that experience in releasing and porting and releasing games on the consoles, and so we specialize more as a multi-platform indie game publisher. So we would work with teams that have working on some really cool games. They didn't have the capability. They wanted to get it onto consoles, and but didn't have the kind of capability there. And so we started off really helping in that fashion. And then as further got along, we started fully funding the games as well with the for the developers. So full publishing kind of service there. And so uh, I think, and we find ourselves working with more developers too, which are just less privileged. They might, they find it harder to get traction or get launched, and because they might be from different parts of the world where it's harder to either to get the hardware or people. And so it's just we've made some really good relationships and in that way with our developers, and it's just kind of been really enjoyable. Hasn't It was obviously we're all in there trying to make a living and make money, but
I mean, let's be real.
like we want to make some profit so we can keep reinvesting back into different games, and as a publisher, and
you gotta make Gunscape too somehow.
yeah,
Someone's got to fund that game.
yeah. So
but I recall, like, again, like I was at a Play NYC, I want to say 2 years ago, and there was a game I came across. There's this one guy, little room by himself, showing off this kind of quirky game, Kung Fu Kickball.
I was gonna guess Kung Fu Kickball.
And I was like, this game is so much fun. It looks really cool. We brought him on the show. He was still like this solo indie dev, had no publisher at all. And then, like, lo and behold, Blowfish comes along, scoops him on up. And
it was a long road to solo making a game solo is tough, right? So but no, that was really cool. We helped out where we could there, also in on the graphic side and on the server back end. And the game didn't go off as much as either of us had hoped, but there was a lot of again we had some challenges there along the way with the multiplayer, because it is like a bit of a Twitch kind of it's a really cool game. Like,
it is, yeah. I mean, that's why I was like, you got to come and talk about this game, dude. But like I said, I think it speaks more to like your ability to look at a game and know that it's a quality game, but you know what it's like to be on the other end of things. You know what it's like to be a struggling like indie dev where like money's always tight, and it's got to get released at some point. Otherwise, I'm going to inflate the budget if I don't get it out the door. So you understand how that world works, and you can bring that to the table as a publisher. Hey, we know what you're going through. Let us be your Sherpa and help you, birth this thing into the world.
100%. I mean, and over the years we've developed and released lots of games, and we always know it's that last 10% generally in a game development that is really tough. And having any kind of support to get across it. And look, it's not always easy, right? Like sometimes we are a publisher, we are like helping with we're doing the porting and stuff, but we still can't finish the game for the developers. So
at some point it's like, hey, we're making our own stuff, so just finish your thing. Here's like your little money bag. Just do what you have to do. But you guys always have a good presence at PAX East. I've been going to PAX East for, I want to say, God, it's a long time. It's more than ever since PAX East existed. I've been going to PAX East. But I love going to your booth. Always great games over there. So, and I can't wait for this year too. You're going to be there, right? Of course, you're going to be there.
Yes. I think everything's coming back now, which is good, right? I think it's been a pretty tough last 3 years, I think, for everybody.
Harder for guys like you too, because again, that's like, it's the place to get buzz and to get noticed too by, like, again, big time publishers who want to, like, see what's on the indie scene and what's going on. But removing that from the equation was a problem for a lot of indie devs. But before we move into our fun rapid fire segment, I want to ask you, if someone's playing Gunscape the first time, play it, they've had their way with it for a couple hours and they put it down, what should they walk away with when they put down Gunscape? What feeling should they feel? in this in the Chestal region. What's the main takeaway
I mean,
of Gunscape?
you know, I I'd hope. I mean, the game is about build, play, share. So,
Mm,
I mean, most people are going to play the game for the the sense of achievement and the satisfaction from building their own level,
mm,
and then being able to go in there and play it like it's a fully fleshed out game essentially, and that's what drives people and gives them the motivation to keep creating and building levels. So even within a couple of hours, somebody can definitely just go in there, have see some use some of the contents in the blocks from games that they know and love from the past, or and then basically build up just a little personal experience, right?
right.
Whether it's multiplayer if if you play split screen, or online, or single player campaign, because you can put your own story into it. So in Blowfish as a company, it's always been about story and narrative in games, and so you put down little terminals and you can kind of lay out your whole kind of like Half-Life style or something like a game where you put in the story. So really, we just the hope is the player goes in there and is able to build something that means something to them, and then be able to share that and play that with other people within the first couple of hours, and then really just keep doing that. So
It's so cheesy, but it's so good though. It's like damn it, you're so wholesome. I hate it. All right, Ben. Let's learn more about you as
I'm worried about this part.
as a human being. No, it's not gonna get too crazy. I mean, I do ask a lot of weird shit, but that's fine. It's time for rapid fire, listeners. Here we go. Ben, the phone rings. It's late. It's 2 a.m. One of your daughters picks up the phone. It's the police, and they say, "Daddy's been arrested. He's in jail." What did Daddy do? Why are you in jail, Ben?
Jeez, what?
what
Man, uh,
what crime are you most likely to commit?
probably I was out driving. I like doing. I occasionally do late night drives, so I was probably out driving and maybe I got a bit too excited and drove a little bit too fast. And
Oh, little speed
I think
demon.
so. Yeah, I like to keep it on track days, but yeah, that's probably the most real thing that could happen.
Right. That's not too terrible. We've had some dark answers for that one, so it's not so bad. uh on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
uh, 9. No one likes to give themselves a 10. Say
Oh
9.
wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna scratch the follow-up out. I can't ask you about your next unannounced project. Would you rather have no one laugh at your jokes or you unable to laugh at anyone else's joke?
It's probably. I'd say the truth probably is that people don't laugh at my jokes, and I laugh a lot at other people's jokes.
I
So
mean, that was pretty good
yeah,
though.
yeah,
That
so,
was
yeah.
really good.
There you go. So I can live with that. No one laughs at my jokes.
Mhm.
I like laughing, so I wouldn't be able to not laugh that way.
We live the same miserable existence. No one laughs at my jokes at work. I'm a riot. Because I think that my life is a sitcom. So when I'm at work, I say things that I think if there was an audience watching, they would enjoy it. Because it's
Yeah.
always at my coworker's expense. I think that's what because it's just jabs. It's more jabs than jokes. I mean, that's what
Uh,
I'm I mean, that's what
nah.
the problem is.
I mean, for me, I just do dad jokes, and so no one,
Oh,
my wife,
come on. It's like
is going to
again,
laugh at that. That is like, oh,
yeah, I mean, we discussed age before the show, and I think I'm evolving. I have no kids yet, but I have the mentality of like a dad, and the dad jokes are always like
yeah.
top of mind. Which do you think you would win, a rap battle or a dance battle?
Jeez, neither. I, I'm a terrible dancer.
Listen, you're
Yeah.
faced with the challenge. If someone says,
All
Ben,
right. Rap. Sure,
you've
I'll go
been,
rap.
the white glove slap, challenge you to a duel. All right, rap. I'm not gonna ask you to rap though. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm just saying that because I know I've tried dancing and I just can't do it.
Mm. Ben, if you are what you eat, what are you?
Everything. I eat everything.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
like trying lots of different food.
mm-hmm.
I like meat, so probably a
Yes.
piece of meat. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I like fish. Yeah, I don't like dessert so much. So yeah, it'd be like some kind of
You're just like some amorphous glob of a bunch of foods.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Sorry, that answer's kind of boring, but
No. Listen. I think if someone was like, I'd be pizza, it's like, that's all you fucking eat is pizza? There's other foods, It's like,
I mean, chicken's probably my favorite. I love meat, but like steak, but chicken. So I might be a chicken.
are you now? Okay, we're going a little tangent here. We're going off the road into the woods.
Uh-oh.
Your favorite fried chicken sandwich, fast food fried chicken sandwich. Do you have one? And if you do, which is it?
No, so I'm not American. So I like just my fried chicken by itself, not in a sandwich.
I think I'm the amorphous blob of food in this conversation. I'm comprised of a bunch of fried chicken sandwiches. I've sampled them all: Burger King, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A.
I like my fried chicken.
Made at home and not in a fast food chain restaurant.
No. Love fast food, just not without bread.
Oh,
All
got
right.
it.
I
Okay.
love fried chicken, but yeah,
Just
just give
not
it
in
to me.
sandwich form.
Yeah, not a sandwich form.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I think you're missing out. Some slaw, some mayo, some pickles, a nice,
yeah.
a nice brioche.
Look, I eat a lot of chicken schnitzel
Mm.
sandwiches. There you
Oh
go. But yeah,
man,
no branded stuff. So
there's a
sorry.
place that makes good chicken schnitzel by
Are
me.
you where? Tell me, like, what would you suggest that I try then next time I'm in?
Oh, like if I told you to get like an actual fried chicken sandwich, like where should you
Yeah.
go get one?
Yes.
I give the Popeyes chicken sandwich
All right.
a try.
All right.
It's a good
Oh,
starter chicken sandwich. It's decent. It has a good little special sauce on it.
mm.
Nice pickle. Good crunch. Great chicken.
All right. I'll
So
judge you. I'll judge you on this. I'll go and I'll try.
this is not sponsored by Popeyes, but if you want it to be, we can make it happen, Popeyes. All right. So would you rather always have wet socks or wet hair?
Ugh, wet hair. Wet
Mm.
socks is terrible. It's horrible.
Now, this is not going to be a very rapid fire-y question, but we can always skip it to the end because I feel like there's
Okay.
going to be like a whole story of why you came to the answer, unless you were like,
All
the answer comes like immediately.
right.
Like my love for chicken sandwiches. We've been seeing a lot lately, this big AAA publishers sort of handing off their IP to indie devs. Like I want to say, looking back, we've had Cadence of Hyrule, indie dev got Zelda. We
Mm.
recently got Castlevania is like a Dead Cells crossover now. Um, Silent Hill is like all indie devs are all up inside that thing between Bluebird doing the remake, an indie team doing a brand new installment. We have Annapurna public, working with No Code to do another indie Silent Hill game. If you were in that spot, if someone said, Ben, we want Blowfish to work on this beloved, cherished, sort of forgotten, maybe ish IP,
Mm.
do you know which IP that would be?
Oh.
Again, we
So
can always revisit in the end if you want to give it some, time in the old noggin to consider. And I know it's a deep question because
yeah.
you
I mean,
seem to me like a man that's played a lot of good games over the course of his lifetime.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I'd want to ruin them by me trying to make the memories. So, I mean, we're working on
unless you
unannounced
unless you already, oh shit.
Yeah, so we are already working on like an unannounced game. Like yeah, you just got to wait a few months before the announcement comes out, I think. So yeah, so there's one
My
that
God, are you already doing the thing that I asked you that you would maybe want to do?
yes, in a way, I guess. So,
Holy shit!
uh,
All right,
so yeah,
yeah, good, 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 good. All right. I'm really glad I asked that question.
I'm good at
Let's.
keeping secrets. So
That's the
yeah,
thing, yeah, but you kind of, still, you didn't give the whole farm away, but you gave me enough. I know that something is happening,
I would
but
say, but
yeah,
I would say it's not my absolute. Your question was, what would I really want?
but
It's
yeah,
not that. It's
like
still really cool, but it's
right,
not. You know,
right.
so maybe let me think about it because that one's tough.
I'm trying to think what's a really shitty game franchise. Like we got the rights to Bubsy. Like I don't know what would you possibly
No,
say?
no, 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 no.
Would you rather live? I can't. I'm gonna. We'll I may press you after the show in an unofficial, offline, off the record manner. I'm just saying, prepare yourself. Would you rather live next to an active volcano or a very poorly secured prison?
Sorry. Would I rather live next to
Next to an active volcano, so there's a chance of hot lava just surging through your home at some point, or live next to a very poorly secured prison, so no one cares.
Oh man,
The inmates have the keys,
I think I'd have.
essentially.
I think it'd have to be a. Oh, that's a terrible question. Volcano. Volcano.
I
I
mean,
think.
how often do they erupt? I mean, it's
Yeah,
active,
exactly.
sure, but like,
I know. That's my thinking. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
you'll take your
yeah,
chances.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
If they're the only two options,
yeah.
yes.
At least you'll hear the lava coming towards you. It's like, all right, I'll move. But there's like some mass murderers coming your way in the dead of night, literally.
Nah,
Then
I'm thinking of my family. Like, yeah, nah.
yeah. Um, would you rather have all gold teeth or be missing half of your teeth, of your real teeth?
uh,
And it's like a legit
yeah.
half, like to the top half or bottom half, not half sporadic.
I mean, I'd go for the missing half and then just get fake teeth put in. You didn't say you can't do that, so
I mean, I
uh,
would say that, but I think that's the beauty because like you found the solution. At the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I'll do that, but I'll fix
yeah.
it somehow.
Yeah. Also, gold teeth, they're not very strong. I don't think you'll be
Uh,
able to eat much with them
yeah,
either. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Take my cheat answer. Thank you.
What can I ask you that you can't cheat on? Oh, this one. Would you rather for the rest of your life watch any piece of media, be it in the movie theater or at home, at double the speed or half the speed?
Double the speed.
Double the speed. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a fun answer.
Yeah. I
It's
think,
either
yeah.
chipmunks or alcoholics. It's like it's the only way.
Yeah. I think mainly because I feel like I I don't have much time anyway, so
Mhm.
double the speed at least
Mhm.
suits my lifestyle.
Right.
I, half the speed would be like, oh, I'll probably never
It's like
finish it.
you won't even notice it. It's like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
And I think like again, for most indie developers, like some hardly have time to even watch TV. So you'd be like, yeah, I'll watch the new Marvel thing at it's like an hour long, right? It's perfect.
yeah, exactly.
Um, I want to end on yet another like deep, sort of like pointed gaming career question, like the what IP you're working on now that you're gonna tell me about after the show's over. Um, if you could erase the memory of a game that you've played before and experience it again for the first time and relive all that excitement and wonder when you first played it, which game would that be?
They're all the games that there's two games that come to my mind. or a few games.
All right, we could take
And
two.
play them.
Yeah.
I mean, my fear is that I'd have to erase all my game playing experience because again, there's the older ones are like I don't know how they would how I'd feel about them now. But
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I mean
very
the
true.
games I love were you know I
How
was a
about
big
this?
I was a big oh yeah what
We'll guarantee that
yeah yeah
even if you played this game when you were like 12, older you would feel the same sense of awe and joy when you play it now. So let's not worry about what older you would like, you know, like for me, the first
mm,
Silent Hill is a great game or Metal Gear Solid. Um, but I wouldn't be like, what is this stupid shitty game now when I'm 40? So
yeah.
again, that's not part of the equation. It's just whatever game it may be, you'll feel the same way ish. What game do you think that would be? Or games?
I mean I've got a soft point for EverQuest.
Oh
I was a
man.
big text based
Yeah.
mudder when
Yeah.
EverQuest came along and just first time experiencing that full kind of immersive 3D you know massively multiplayer
Mm.
RPG. It was amazing. The first time you walked into, you go into the big forests and the kind of the elven forests or the elven towns, and it was just so atmospheric for the time. Even though it was like you look back at it now, it's like terrible graphics, but just a sense of exploration and being there with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, that was spent many hours in there. But I just remember early on, first started playing that game, it was amazing. So it's probably the
That's a good
strongest one.
answer. That's a good answer. All right, Ben. Thank you so much, dude, for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun talking about
Thank you,
you,
Andy.
talking about Gunscape, talking about a bunch of other stuff. Um, so where can this is like the you social media pitch marketing guy PR moment. Where can folks find out more about you, about Blowfish, and about Gunscape? Give us like the spiel, as it were.
uh,
All of the at and hashtag things that
in
you
the
have
hashtag, yeah. I mean,
that come to
follow,
mind.
go to our website, blowfishstudios.com.
Mhm.
Follow us on Twitter, Blowfish Studios, or I've got my own Twitter account. Uh, I'm not. Yeah, this is probably my weakest part of this podcast, and me talking about where to do
It's
it.
okay. We'll put links in like the down below area because you'd be surprised how many folks forget their own shit when they come on this show. You'd be like, I don't know,
yeah,
Google it. Google the name of
yeah,
the game we're talking about, then you'll
yeah.
find us maybe.
I remember my own domains at least. Yeah, so but yeah, so our website and Twitter and YouTube, Blowfish Studios games. But yeah, read the links below.
Yeah, go buy it if you can find it.
Yeah. We're running some. Keep an eye out. I think we're running a couple of competitions
Mhm.
for the Gunscape launch. So giving away a Switch or two, I think, with like some Gunscape
Oh,
skins, soul skins, and stuff. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I don't know when that's
wow.
launched or it already has. So um,
All right.
yeah.
We'll like retweet all that fun stuff too. So that's Gunscape, February 1st, finally on Nintendo consoles. It feels almost criminal that a game that I feel evokes so much Nintendo feelings, like N64 especially, how
Yeah,
it's just now landing on a Nintendo console.
yeah. So blame me for
Listen,
that.
you saved the best for last.
Resourcing.
You
I
did
think
it. Everything's
yes,
eventual, Ben. It had to happen at some point. You didn't give up on your
yeah,
dreams.
no,
Your
and
dreams
it's a
did
big.
not become memes. You did it.
I'm very, very satisfied. And I have to say, big thank you to my team that's been working hard on it, on and off, trying to, things take priority and things like that. But they've, really stuck through getting all the technical aspects and everything. So, um, no, it's gonna be huge if people get out there and make it huge.
I'm gonna crash all those servers again. All right.
Yep, let's do it. Let's do it.
And with that, thank you, Ben. Thank you so much. This has been a real treat. Thank you, listeners. And please go out there and buy Gunscape on February 1st when it lands on Switch, or buy it now on Steam or other console things you may or may not own. Join us next week where I'll have Ben back on and I'll be trying to buy his Transformers collection from him in the background. I'll take the whole
Thank
lot for a solid grand.
No. Thanks, Andy.
All right, guy. Thank you so much, buddy. It was a real treat. Guys, thank you so much. And until next time, please be excellent to each other.